All right. Today on the Veteran Owned Business, we have Matthew Gabel with MJ Gabel. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So first, tell me a little bit about your time in the military. What did you do? Yeah, tell me,
Sure.
how'd you get there?
Sure. So I was legally emancipated by the age of 17, which typically doesn't happen. So I joined the military or in the Marines in the delayed entry program, which I'm sure a lot of probably military vets would know what that means.
Yeah.
And that was my junior year in high school. Then I graduated, obviously, that following June or the next year in June, and had a few days off. And then after graduation, and then I went right into Paris Island, and that's where my summer vacation was 3 months on Paris Island. Then obviously after that, I went to School of Infantry, as most of us do in North Carolina. And then I went into 29 Palms for my MOS, which was 2531 field radio operator. Surprisingly, I graduated top 10% of my class, which I was not expecting, and went into MEOC, which is microwave electronics, which is 2532. And then during that time in Paris or in 29 Palms, I sustained a knee injury. So that kind of was a quick end of my military career, as you call it. And I ended up obviously getting an honorable discharge due to my knee injury. So that was that was my short military career.
Well, awesome. And so where were you from originally before you had joined? What state were you in?
Rochester, New York. And I'm still here now.
Okay, nice. So you
Yeah,
just went home after 29 Palms
basically.
and
Yeah,
fine,
basically.
fine sand.
Yes. Lots of desert there for sure. It was kind of flat and well, a lot of mountains, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that too. It is pretty. I mean, yeah, I guess everybody has a different explanation of what pretty is. So
Yeah, well, sure.
the
It's
mountains are great.
Southern California. So it's not like, Palm Springs was pretty, but it's not like other areas of California, which are probably a lot better looking and more pleasant than the stumps.
Yeah. No beachfront property for you
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
So, how did you come up with the idea to start MJ Gable?
So it kind of came to me like or organically. I didn't even it was a mistake. It didn't even mean to happen. So I was in mergers and acquisitions at the time. I had my own company. I had some ex Xerox guys working for us. It was a partnership of four. We did mid-market mergers and acquisitions. That was through the market crash of 2008 when all the
Mm,
housing, it started in like six and it kind of peaked in 2008. So we had slowed down a lot. And I had an ex-business partner that I had done some work with in the past who called me and said, "Hey, Matt, I've got something you need to take a look at. You want to come to my office and have a look?" So I did. And internally in his space, he had like a gold buying location, which was really new at the time. And I remember him opening the doors and people flooding in all day and literally selling gold for cash. And I still didn't understand the concept. And then when he told me we melt the gold with the refiner and then we get a return, that kind of clicked with me. So from that point, him and I, we partnered and I opened up 5 gold buying stores in 2 different counties. Him and I ran those. And then 4 or 5 years into the business, I wanted to get into the diamond business because we saw a lot of diamonds that were coming in. And his name was Bill. So I pulled Bill aside and said, have any interest in pursuing the diamond side of the gold business? He said, "No, you can. I just don't want to have anything to do with it." So that's the start of, so I started dabbling in diamonds for a couple years. And then in 2011 is when I created MJ Gable, and it started basically there. I still managed all the stores that we had, and I was doing an awful lot of traveling to like Pennsylvania, Ohio, to buy diamonds from consumers. And then we would flip and sell them or auction them or do whatever we did on our side of the business. So that's how I got started. And then he later exited out of the business, out of the gold business, and asked if I wanted to take over the gold business. I said no. The diamond business at that point was very successful. So I ended up taking over one of the stores, and we took the name off of that and turned it into MJ Gable. And then it just kind of, it took off from there.
Awesome. So your gold stores, were those kind of close to where you are now, or were they spread out?
Yeah. The furthest one was like down, the furthest one was in I forget what county it was, but it was a county over. We had 3 counties covered. I know Monroe, Wayne, and I forget what the other county was, but the furthest distance from store to store was probably an hour and 20 minutes maybe.
Okay.
And we had 5 stores within that geographical area. So I mean, it was a lot of fun to do that. It was a heck of a time, the gold era there. I mean, gold was spiking and there was a lot of money floating around in gold.
That's very cool. Yeah, I never really understood that. Like, I always see the places we buy gold, or
Yeah,
you see
sure.
those signs, and I'm like, I wonder what they do with that. Like, are they just selling it again, or like
They melt it. Yeah. So
Love it.
so
Okay.
usually an actual licensed refiner cannot buy directly from the public. It has to be like a business, at least here in our state. So in other states may vary, but so you have to go through like a third party source.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Very cool. So so are the other stores, are those all closed down? Are you,
Gone. Yeah. Yep.
yeah. Okay.
With that name that we had in the partnership dissolved after he retired. We exited out of that. And at that point, there was so much competition and there were so many other stores. And now, like in MJ Gable, we still do purchase gold. Our primary business, though, is obviously diamond goods and diamond jewelry.
Okay. And then do you sell, is it just locally, or are you able to do like over mail or anything like that?
Internationally. Yeah. So
International.
we have kind of a niche. Yeah. So our business started as buying only, and then we would purchase those pieces or loose diamonds, and then we would sell them. We then introduced consignment, which opened up the finish. We call it finished goods or finished jewelry, which are diamond necklaces, earrings, bracelets, rings, things of that nature that we can then consign or sell for our clients to allow them a higher profit margin or return on those used goods. And then it turned into new goods. And so our selling, we don't sell directly through our website. We have selling partners that sell
Okay.
for us. Like First Dibs is one of them, and we have some other trade only like marketplaces that sell for us predominantly. So it takes the sales cycle out of it for us. So we get a lot of inventory merchandise in, and our sales channels sells it for us. And we've just set it up that way because it works very good for us. We don't have to reinvent the wheel or continue to market our goods. They handle all that. So that's basically what we're doing now. But we have goods that ship globally, all over the place. On the buy side, it's primarily just the US. We have clients at FedEx and send stuff into us daily.
Okay. That's really neat. No, that's smart, because the selling portion is a whole different like wheelhouse, right? And so,
It is. Yeah. And we've tried to do, we've considered our own website but there's so much involved there. We have so much inventory that changes hands every day, every week, every month, that it would be just a nightmare to manage and maintain that. It'd be one thing if we had like the same pair of earrings that we can use the same stock photo for and we can sell over and over and over again. But a lot of our pieces are actually from like wealthy families, estates, out of country sometimes that are part of a family's estate. So a lot of them are one of one. They're really unique pieces.
oh, that's awesome. So if anybody's looking for anything unique, they should definitely check out one of your
Yes.
partners.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, um, so was the gold business the first thing that you did after the military, or did
Oh
you?
God, no. No, as soon as I got
Okay.
out of the service, I sold printing and then worked for a large printing manufacturer. Um, Working for that large printing manufacturer was, I think, the point where I decided I wanted to do something on my own. I would work basically, I think it was like 6 a.m. to like 3 p.m., but I would never really get out at 3. It'd be more like 4 or 5. And then usually on a Friday afternoon before I was going home, ready for the weekend, I was told by my management or my boss that you're coming in tomorrow. And
Oh,
it's a half day on Saturdays typically, so it's 6 to noon. So that happened quite often. And at that point, I wanted to have control of my time. You know what I mean? So that's kind of when, and plus being an entrepreneur, I not everybody's built or born to be one. And that's perfectly cool. It's fine. We need people that like to punch clocks and be at work. And punch out for the weekend and not think of it. And then we need those that are innovators and out of the box thinkers that can move things forward. But that's, I think, really when I determined I wanted to get out of that business and to grind and do my own thing and grind for myself. But
No.
I've had several other companies prior, meaning after my printing, I guess my little stint in printing, and I've had businesses that have done very well, and I've had ones that didn't do so well. But that's how you get to, you know, build a better business and a better you, and get to a point where you can consult and discuss with new entrepreneurs or new businesses and how to run their business. So that's, yeah, there's a lot of failure there for sure.
Failure for growth. And I think I
Yeah.
read somewhere too, even for people who do like real estate for business, or just businesses in general, they'll have several things going. Some will lose money and then the other ones will make money, but they still have them all kind of doing their thing. So that's not unheard of. And it's hard to say no as a veteran. I think, prior active duty, you're used to always saying, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. And
Good
when
point.
someone's saying like, hey, you need to come in. Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. Or help. I mean, I find
Or
myself a
help.
lot of
Yeah.
time getting torn in 50 different directions because I have a tendency not to say no. And yeah, I'll
Mm,
see what I can do. And then I feel obligated. And then I want to make sure that my word is good. So I'll follow through. So that's a constant battle for sure.
yeah. Yeah, definitely worth doing for yourself. You could sit there and tell yourself no if you really needed to.
Yeah.
It's easier to tell yourself no than somebody.
Procrastinate, tell yourself, no, I'll do it later. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
People get in that grind and that habit very, very quickly. And they can get out of
Yeah.
control if you don't have the discipline to stay on track.
Yes. Yes, that's a huge thing. I'm hoping one of these days I get somebody that I get to interview that can talk more about that, because I think all entrepreneurs can kind of use those tips to
Yeah, absolutely.
balance, because I mean, entrepreneurs are known for working hard, right? And I don't think I
Yeah.
know any that just work a 40-hour work week, and it's just, the brain's always going.
Yep.
Things
Lack
are,
of sleep. Yeah, sure.
yeah.
That's an entrepreneur. I mean, we're not worried about bills. I think we're worried about the next idea or the next, how to build things better and bigger and make your process bigger and better and get more people and training those people. And yeah, so I would agree with that.
Honing and fine tuning the
Yeah,
business
absolutely.
thing. So what is your why? Why MJ Gable? What is your purpose with the business?
So it's not just, I think my purpose just in general, I mean, MJ Gable is a whole helps individuals get out of pieces and it's helping people. But I think like personally, my why or my mission would be to be the absolute best version of myself that I can be. And that's personally, professionally, in any of the companies that I have, or just me as an individual, to be above average in everything that I do. There's just something that bothers me about people that are just okay with like average, just like scooting through life, being average. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not picking on those people. If that's you, I don't have an issue with it. It just doesn't fit my
That's fun.
personality. I can't do it. I cannot just be average. And that's in everything that I do. And I've always felt that way. So I try to accomplish more, and I want to be able to look back on what I've done and how I treated people and know that I've done it all above average. So
Having
that's my why.
I love that. And so with the things that you do for your day to day, whether it's like the physical things or just I guess like maybe the feeling of what you do, what do you love most about what you do today?
What I love most, I guess my time, getting my time back. Being an entrepreneur in the beginning, I didn't have a lot of time because I was spending all the time building a business and businesses. Um, but I think now that I've kind of reached a certain point and things are running successful and like a fine old machine, I have my time back. So I don't have a normal schedule. And right, working 40 hours. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I don't think I've seen 40 hours in probably a couple of years, which is good, meaning I work less. But I do work obviously at home and on the road a lot. But I think time for me um, is what I love most about what I do. And of course, helping people, but time for sure is because you can always make more money, right? You
Hmm.
can always start another company or do different things in your company to make more money, but you can't make more time. So for
That's
me, it's time.
that's a huge benefit. I know there's a lot of thought involved, but just to be able to, if you, I don't know if you have kids or not, but if you have kids that have like a play where they're performing and you want to be able to be there, sometimes you get lucky and you have jobs where you can do that, or, be there when your kids get home from school, or, you know, it's
Yeah,
just,
I have two daughters, and that's one is 8 months old, so she's young,
well,
and then the other one's 7. So I'm so thankful that I basically broke my back for all those years building and building and building and building and putting the time in because um, I'm getting it back now for sure. I'm able to spend more time with my family.
that's awesome. That's a great time too, because
Yeah,
they
I know.
start remembering about the age of 5 to 7, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so he's gonna remember, well, your oldest will remember, and then, your youngest will remember what
yeah.
she at that point too.
And I
That's
can't tell you how many high net worth individuals, business owners, entrepreneurs that I talk to that the one thing that they over and over I keep hearing it's like repeatedly is I wish right when my kids were that age I had more time with them, and they looking back, they make millions of dollars now. They're happy, but they would have postponed making millions some years because once you hit a certain point, yeah, money's great, but how much do you really need and what did you sacrifice and give up? So
yeah.
that's a pretty tough balance, I think, for a lot of people is to figure that out, that combination out.
Yeah, because if you're too busy chasing that dollar for too
Yeah,
long and your kids have already grown and they don't want to
it's
hang
too
out.
late. Yeah, the
Yeah.
time is gone. That's what I mean. You can't buy more time.
Yeah. I mean, even with active duty, these guys that spend 20 plus years in, and maybe they're deployed a good portion of that. Like, I know that there's some regret there sometimes, but
That's tough. That's
yeah.
that's that for sure is tough. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, what would you say was your biggest learning curve when starting MJ Gable? Or if maybe not MJ Gable, but maybe like, the gold business or something else. Is there anything in particular that
Oh
you,
yeah, and
man, I
there's
wish I'd
lots.
done
I
this.
mean, you are it. I mean, the biggest learning curve is you are it. Everything stops at you. There's no one to blame but yourself. You learn very quick that um, you are the reason your business will fail or succeed. Period.
Mhm.
There is no passing blame. There is no guarantee of a paycheck each week. You have to build that, and that applies if you're a sole proprietor or you've got 50 plus employees.
Yeah,
Take responsibility, be a leader, and lead by example. That's and fail. You know what I mean? Fail as many times as you can, miserably. Do it often because you'll learn from those mistakes and you'll build a better company. But yeah, the biggest learning curve is at the end of the day when your day sucks or you made some bad decisions, you can't look up the chain, right? And be like, what did you do? You
yeah.
got to look yourself in the mirror and come to realization that you made those decisions. So it stops at you. You're it.
That's a hard that's a hard pill to swallow
It is.
sometimes.
Yeah. But you got to have those conversations in the mirror with yourself.
Oh yeah. Yep. Because the ones that are like pointing fingers at everybody else,
Yeah,
eventually
sure.
they're gonna end up with just them, and then they'll learn that it
Right.
was.
Yep.
Oh,
Exactly. Exactly.
that's a great piece of advice. Like, like I love that. So well, speaking of pieces of advice, what advice would you give someone who was wanting to start their own business, regardless of what industry they were wanting
Sure.
to get to?
Research the hell out of the industry, obsess about it. Um, yeah, like literally obsess about it. Like make it a priority over everything else. And then fail and make mistakes.
Yeah.
Learn from those mistakes and failures. Do not be afraid to fail and make mistakes. A lot of people are very afraid of failing and make mistakes. Therefore, they don't execute, which doesn't help you. learn from them. And then being a business owner, entrepreneur is not for everyone. And I think I said that earlier. So be honest about who you are and your personality type and whether you can or can't do it. Again, be obsessed, be disciplined about the idea, about the business and the adventure you are starting. And you have to be 100% committed. I know a lot of people got families, and I can't tell you how many friends and family members and people that I know that want to go into business, they start a business and they're done within a year to 5 years. I know of a gentleman who opened up a restaurant. The first like 3 months he opened, he took his wife on vacation for a week, shut the restaurant down. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. It's not going to work for you. You got that mindset, go back to working for somebody else. That's more suited for you. You have to sacrifice. I mean, I sacrificed for 20 years a lot of stuff to get to where I am now, to be able to live the lifestyle that I want to live. So when I started MJ Gable, I was obsessed. I mean, I dreamt about it. I slept MJ Gable. My free time was MJ Gable. I was building constantly, thinking about it, how to innovate, how to be different, how to change, how to make it work. So you literally have to be obsessed about it. Kind of like in high school when you like that boy or girl and that's all you think about. You're driven and you're obsessed, and you'll do anything, and you'll make things happen to make, that first date or a phone call happen. You have to kind of have that same mentality.
Nice. And speaking of that first date, your wife is in business with you as well?
She is. Yeah. So
Awesome.
I hired her, as an employee back in the gold business. She actually ran one of my stores for me. And
Okay.
her and I developed a very, very close relationship. We were both in certain relationships at the time that didn't work out, and we kind of fell together. Again, organically, naturally, it happened. And yeah, she's been a partner of MJ Gable since basically day one. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. So, what are you most excited about right now?
The possibilities and opportunities available.
Do you have anything in the works that you can?
I do, yeah. But it's endless. So
Yeah.
when I started being an entrepreneur and dabbling in business, it was several years ago. Internet wasn't a thing. I cannot tell you, the internet has made so many millionaires in my lifetime than I think any other time in history, just from the internet. So possibilities and opportunities, there's so much that can be done out there. So I'm excited that you can make things happen basically every day. If you don't like the day before, the things that you did, you can switch it up the next day. And the internet moves so fast, and there's so many things you can do so fast to make that change, to head in the right direction. So just the endless possibilities, I think, is but yes, I've got some things in the works. We started another company last September that is already profitable and moving in the right direction. So that's always exciting.
Awesome. Are you able to talk about that, or
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah. We're doing basic commercial real estate investing and land investing. That's
Yeah,
kind
nice.
of taken off. So it's a whole different industry, right? But it's fascinating. It's interesting to me, and yeah, it's a lot of hard work, but it's a good business.
That's awesome. Like, are you guys going to try to stay local, or are you doing?
We buy basically East Coast currently. So we'll buy commercial and just land. So mainly East Coast. Nothing in New York yet. We haven't really marketed too much in New York yet, but we're Pennsylvania, the Carolinas, Georgia, Florida, Ohio right now currently.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
May have to have you come back and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Too.
Love to.
So, where do you see MJ Gable in the next year?
In the next year, here, obviously, still profitable and running. It's, the lab grown market has changed the way the diamond market operates. It's fairly new in retrospect to how long natural diamonds have been around, but I think we'll be here just as profitable as we were the year before. The diamond business and our business it's relentless. No matter what industries are doing or the world economy is doing, for some reason, we just always seem to hit numbers and goals at the end of each year. And we don't do a lot of advertising. A lot of our advertising is word of mouth and just doing a good job for people. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll still be here doing the same thing as we always do. We enjoy the business for sure. You have to love what you do. Have
You
to.
do. Yes, absolutely. That
Yeah.
makes the hard times more livable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with you already being international, so how does growth typically look for a company like yours? Like, is the growth like
Clients.
more
Yeah,
client?
just clients. I mean, the sell side always happens. That's always been just like clockwork. So on the sell side, it's just been consistent for years. It's just getting pieces in. But we don't really have that much of a problem with it. If again, I'll go back to pre-podcast when you and I were talking about offering a service and a product, right, that people want or need or can use. You really don't have to sell it. And that's what we've done. We've created a marketplace and options for people that nobody else has done. So, and people see that. They see that we're genuine, we're honest, we're ethical, we're transparent, and that's how we do business. And we love what we do. So by portraying that, and people can hear that on the phone, they can see it when I have conference calls with them and understand what we do. They're very comfortable with us, and that's what helps us grow. Is we're not hiding behind a large corporation. We're answering phones, we're answering emails, you know what I'm saying? So we're present in everything that we do.
That's a big thing these days. I mean, you
Yeah.
try to call some of these big companies that have always had a call center, and all of a
Yep.
sudden it's not available anymore.
Yep.
Can't get
Yeah.
anything
I mean,
done.
that's
Stuck.
right. I mean, that's important, especially when you're dealing with somebody's diamond piece, whether it's worth $3,000 or $300,000. I mean, they want to know that they can text me or call me on a Sunday or email me and I'll respond back to them. Yeah, and we've been at it for, I mean, over 10 years. So that's time in for sure is what you have to do in this business in order to gain some type of credibility.
That's awesome. So, how can our fellow veterans best support you?
Easy. Find us on social, follow us, and if you're in a situation where you need our services, then absolutely give us a call, email. Happy to chat about what you've got, how we can help, and if we can't help you, we can certainly refer you out to somebody that can help you. And that's it. There's a saying that's this meme that's going around. I'm sure you've seen it before. Something about strangers who don't know you will completely support your business, but then you got friends and families who, never support your business. So it's one of those things. It's very easy to support a veteran-owned business or a business in general just by logging onto their social media, following them, making some comments on there. Suggest, even if you can't use them or don't use them, you can always suggest to others that they do.
Yes.
So it's real easy.
Awesome. Well, so I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, and I look forward to possibly having you on in a future
Yeah, that'd be
episode
great.
as well. So I know that we had talked about, the pitch thing, but so instead of give us your pitch, tell us what you do.
Sure. So MJ Gabel, we are a fine diamond jewelry company that specializes in purchasing, appraising, evaluating, and consigning diamond goods for clients basically all over the country. We're a much better source than just a cash for gold, obviously, for the diamond goods, or just a regular jeweler who may just buy it to put in their cabinet. We offer consignment services, broker services, estate buying services, and consulting services. A lot of what we do, there's no charge to. So we've got a lot of clients that will find us, send stuff to us, or come in for an appointment. We will go through all their stuff, give them options and ideas on how to sell it. And then a lot of times they come back and have us take care of that for them. So that's
Thank
it.
Thank you.